Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Conscious Songwriters Interview Series, where we're talking to conscious songwriters who are making an impact in the world, who are acclaimed, who are wonderful human beings, and who are listening to that innate desire to express the creative impulse that is coming through to be examples just like you. So today we have a remarkable human being who I've been blessed to meet, perform with, write with, get to hear. She is funny. She is awesome, talented. She moves the soul. She is a ball of love, light, and passion. And an award winner, all the accolades. We'll get into that later. But most importantly, she's a dear friend. I'd like to welcome the amazing, incomparable Amy Steinberg. What's up, Amy? So glad we're on here remotely. I see you got little bees flying by you.
It's interesting. They're like circling me, and I'm feeling like I'm trying not like I don't want to look like a killer, so I'm not like But I also am not that quick, so I would just be like going like this, and nothing would be happening. So.
You're giving yourself an applause, that's all.
I'm just letting them, like, give me their energy. They're just loving. Yeah, there's one. Okay.
Yes.
We'll just try to, hopefully it won't be too distracting.
I only saw it once, so that's good.
There's two. They're like, actually, I think there's a mother and a baby.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. So we are joined, but you're coming from the West Coast, by the way, right?
That's right.
West Coast gigs. Love San Diego and love that you are there. Right off the bat, I want you to share with people the things.
We'll hear the chihuahuas occasionally. I'm sorry about that.
No worries.
Chihuahuas. All right, just wait really quick. I have to tell you. I moved into this new place.
Go ahead.
I have two chihuahuas. I have a cat. There was a cat that lived here already, a black cat that is just like 20 years old, and her name is Mrs. Harper. Then we also have a resident possum that comes and goes, scares the living out of me. But it's like possums are very spiritual animals. I now have a crow that comes and goes. I have a crow, like freaking, and then a squirrel lives in the tree right outside.
So the Steinberg Nature Reserve. You have a nature reserve now, right?
No white birds, nature reserve.
I love it.
White bird.
That's so cool.
What are you doing? You're interrupting, Mr. Fly.
That's right. Leave her alone.
They probably want to go outside because I opened that door, but it's all right.
That's funny, and it's beautiful. What a beautiful place. I only got to see the outdoor side of that, but I can tell it looks beautiful. So last time I got to see you, I think was in San Diego. We had a chance to write with Patricia Bahia together. We started a song. It's one of those songs where we might get back to it. We'll see. But I'm sure we'll write some other stuff together as well. The beautiful thing I love about your writing is it's like it has your personality infused in it that comes out in a way that's funny. I won't say what's the word? It breaks boundaries or breaks conditioning is a better way to put it. Like it goes against your typical conditioning of, ooh, it's got to be this way or that way. You're like, yeah, whatever. So what's the word for that? There's a word for that. Not sacrilegious. There's something else. Innovative, yes. Irreverent. Yes, that's what I was looking for. Irreverent. It's irreverent in a beautiful way. Some of it is, yeah.
I often think of the sacred and the profane being two sides of the same coin.
Exactly.
And I joke about how, where do you say, oh my God, more?
Yeah.
Am I right?
That's right.
When we're intimate, and where do we feel the love? That feeling of being in love that we're looking for with the beloved, with the divine, with universe, with spirit, is we get a taste of it in our personal relationships.
That's right. So, and we set up all these boundaries culturally. Society-wise, all the conditioning that comes where this is right and this is wrong. And, all those are just constructs that are really not, we've just invested a bunch of belief in that.
Yes, and they're breaking down right before our eyes. We're watching it all just crumble.
Yes. And I
under
feel
the fiery hair of Donald Trump.
That's right.
He's a
The
flame.
fiery.
He's a candle.
Yes.
He's a light.
And you know what? He is. I don't. You know what? We're just gonna talk a little candid. I know he gets a bad rap. I get it. I actually, from a sense of consciousness, it's all one. It's all love.
Right. He's
That's
a part
the way
of you. He's a part
I
of me.
look
If you
at
don't like him, you don't like yourself.
Bingo, bingo. And
Right.
the funny thing is, he represents creativity. He's just expressing it a very different way. And, people call it narcissistic, whatever. I mean, do I choose the same path? No. Do I judge his path as being wrong for him? No. He's doing him. He's doing what he's here to express. And he is an orange ball of creativity.
Yes,
An orange and gold ball of creativity. I also
think about, how there's, and heard this many times, but there's certain trees that don't release their seed unless they're burned down. Yeah. And I think he genuinely looks like a candle or like a flame. Like he's orange with the yellow hair. He looks physically like the manifestation of a flame, and he's burning down a lot of old, a lot of the things that were being hidden, right? The racism, the sexism, the things that have been right under the surface that we've just been sort of living with, that it's being burned away, and we're seeing where we are, and we're able to assess, and we're able to come together and write about it and sing about it and rise. I really think, listen, where does the lotus grow?
The mud, baby. Yeah.
Oh, doo-doo.
Yeah. There you go.
Fertilizer, doo-doo. Like he is the manifestation of our fertilizer. He is Donald Trumpalizer.
Yep. And it's all for those who are probably, or for those who may be shocked by this conversation, watching.
Sorry about this.
The reality is, in consciousness, as we look at the great spiritual teachers that teach, there's only oneness, the rest is illusion. Right. The suffering comes from that judgment we place upon all the things that are transpiring that we don't like and that we resist. Mm-hmm. And don't recognize that it's our consciousness. There's one consciousness infinitely expressing, doing it all. And until we learn to accept, see the perfection, even in the things that look like doo-doo, the things that look like.
What's wrong with doo-doo? Doo-doo is
right.
Again, what is more pleasurable than sitting on the toilet for like a good long session? A good long session. What?
That's awesome. See, I told you she was funny. That's awesome. I love that. Man.
I'm just saying.
I'm with it. Yeah, sometimes that can be very relieving.
This interview might be going a little bit of a different direction, and I apologize.
That's awesome. Yeah. So no, hey, it's called Conscious Songwriting Retreat. There is no wrong direction in this one, baby.
I love it.
We got it. Yes.
For this idea that you birthed. It's wonderful.
Absolutely. Wonderful. So getting to your who you are, what you've been able to express as an extension of that consciousness. Love to let people know some of your credibility, some of the things you have been grateful to birth, just by saying yes to your inspiration, your desire. What are some of the great accomplishments you've been blessed to receive? And I know you've won awards, you've got a Broadway musical thing, all this cool stuff. Tell us a little bit about the journey.
Well, I'll go from now back. I'm just getting ready to release a new collection of songs, a new, I guess, CD, album, record. I don't know what to call it anymore. Digital, story. I'm so excited about it, and it's different because the last 5 collections that I've made with the same producer. So this time I'm working with a different genius, another Very genius. Cool. His name's Ross Cooper, but it's a little more electronic. It's a little more, I think, a little more modern, a little more current, maybe sounding. I'm excited for you to hear.
I can't wait.
And it's probably the most, I say the G word a lot. So it's the most I'm spiritual, because I feel like I started in more of the singer-songwriter world, more of the, trying to hone my craft that way. And then I got pulled into the centers, much like you, I'm sure, because that's where God, Spirit, Universe led me. And so now my relationship with my songwriting has gotten more and more and more about God, right? So whatever that means to people, and that's such a tough word, but I love that word. It's a wonderful word to sing, and it's a wonderful word to write from. So I've got several songs on this record that have the G word. So it's going to be interesting. And
when you first said the G word, when you first said the G word, I'm like, orgasm does not start with a G. What is orgasm? Starts with
a bad word. A lot of people still are very uncomfortable with that word because of what institutions have done to it. And I look at it like the Hebrews. You know, I'm Jewish, and it is nameless. You know, it is nameless. But so what am I going to say? I'm singing to the nameless. I mean.
Hey, that might be a song, but yeah.
God is just like a placeholder, right? Like
for
this mystery, this great divine expression.
It's a common pointer that people can relate to. A lot of people can relate to.
And if we change, how it's expressed, kind of like we said, where I'm a little irreverent, I have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
And it makes people a little more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And I'm also in recovery for a long, long time, and I love the acronyms that you find out about, like good orderly direction, or gift of desperation, or, gifts on demand.
Nice. I like that. Gifts on demand. That might be my favorite one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. Well, that's what you live, John Stringer. I mean, you are a gift, and you know how to manifest, good, you're good, or good on demand, gifts on demand.
That's awesome.
Or good with one O.
There you go.
So anyway, I got off on a tangent again. Shiny thing, ADD, whatever. Never been diagnosed, but sure, it's a thing.
That's awesome. So the new CD's coming out.
New CD, and so then from there, I was sitting here counting when we were talking, because I have a hard time with getting it all in a box, like, what have I done, Sure. You're asking me to kind of think about it, and this will be my 6th independent, solo, fully produced collection record. So awesome. Record, which I'm really, really proud of every single one of them. They have, always gotten good reviews and good, received well.
Rightfully so, yes.
The last record, Broken Open, won a Posse for Burning Into the High, and One with Everything, which I wrote with Gary Lynn Floyd, was nominated.
Awesome.
And the record before that, Intimate with the Infinite, Flying on Faith and One Step, both got nominated.
Yes.
And, beyond the music, with that music, though, I've traveled and toured, and you told me to brag a little, so I'm gonna brag.
Yes.
I did the Ani DeFranco way, which is like, don't do it like anyone else. In the very, very beginning of my career, I'll call it a career, I started to think about labels and looking that way, and I had a couple things, very thin things that kind of fell apart, and I was like, you know what, I don't know if I don't have the skin thick enough to go and do that get rejected thing, which I do believe if you have that skin, do it. Just keep sending it out and keep going. I felt it was more important for me to just keep expressing and let spirit lead me, or let the universe lead me. Yeah. So I started playing coffee houses and open mics, and that led me to spiritual centers, which to me, I believe is a very special community. We have the opportunity to go into a center on a Sunday, play a couple songs, and make as much as we would make 3 nights at a bar, with the smoke and the mirrors and everything. Yeah. And connect and raise the consciousness and be a part of the light workers. And so I'm really grateful to the Centers for Spiritual Living, to the Unity churches, to the Marianne Williamsons, to the, all of these teachers that have, encouraged us to just keep writing conscious music. I think there should be a conscious music in the Grammys. Is there one now?
No, however, we had a previous interview with Richard McDeesey, and they are working to get that done, and hopefully others will be helping.
Be like a section or something, because I feel like it's become its own genre. We have our own little tribe of powerful, positive musicians that are not on the radio, but that are all on the internet and all in the churches, and So,
Totally.
and I know that Christian music, I mean, is blowing up right now. All the worship music, which I do want to give a shout out to all that, because I have been sneaking away on Sunday nights to the Rock Church here in San Diego.
Oh, cool.
To hear the music.
That's
now,
awesome.
Once the message begins, I leave. I
right,
leave
right.
Don't believe in the whole, like, I'm nothing without you, although technically, but that whole desperate energy of that. But the music is this powerful. I don't know if you've heard of Kim Walker Brown or Kim Walker Smith. And
I love Hillsong, one of my favorites.
Hillsong, yep.
They are just amazing. Need to Breathe is another one of my favorites who've crossed over in the popular music. They did a great collaboration with Gavin DeGraw on a song called Brother. It was a pretty big hit.
Now, I wonder, was he a Christian songwriter at some time, or came out of the church? Gavin
Don't
DeGraw?
know. He's got the flavor like that. I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised at all.
There's space for us, Yeah. And there's so many people who are spiritual, not religious.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
That don't even know where to find us. Don't even know.
What's awesome too, for context, for the people who are unlike, like many of us are, let's say, very open and believe that whatever your path, that's the path for you. If it works to help you connect with that divine, then that's where you should be.
We honor all paths.
Now, there are others who say, no, there's an exclusive way. You have to be Christian. You have to pray this prayer, have to get baptized, this, that, and the other. Hey, if that works for you and you making that work, no problem. Have that. Like, I don't even judge that anymore. I used to be but I'm just like, it doesn't even matter to me. Whatever you're doing, if it's working, great. If it's not working and you're just holding on to something real tightly for whatever reason and you're miserable and suffering and whatever, well, that's part of your journey to figure out. But I say all that to say that even in my hopes of looking at conscious music, I love the fact that it's about looking at how does it make you feel and creating the music that helps people feel where they want to go or helps them. And not that there's a problem with feeling suffering or feeling miserable or feeling down or feeling depressed or angry or, hatred or anything. Not that that's a problem. You're free to do that too. That's what love is. Love doesn't keep a record of wrong. It lets you do whatever the heck you choose.
Right.
But music that helps people become more aware of, okay, you have options. If you're tired of this path, you have options, and here's how you can rise above and let go of the stuff that's been making you miserable. That kind of music, to me, I think spans the borders from Christian to freaking, all sorts of religions. Yeah, reggae. You can find so many things that point you to.
I mean, Bob Marley was probably the first conscious music I
heard.
Yep. I didn't even know I was hearing it, but I knew that it was raising my vibration when I was listening. I didn't know what to call it that, but when I was a teenager and I was,
that's right.
I mean, I was feeling so good when I would sing that positive.
Totally. That's a great example. Jason Mraz, I think he's cranking out stuff like that too. And there's plenty. There's so many. In fact, even in commercial music, there's a lot of them, a lot of examples. Like, I listen to a lot of commercial music because of that. It makes me feel good. There's an artist called Bon Iver, or a group, I guess, Bon Iver, how do you pronounce it?
Beautiful.
Oh my God. It's such a spiritual thing for me when I listen to their music. There's one called Heavenly Father. It has some curse words in it, but it's effing awesome. It's awesome. I love it.
I was just listening to some Imagine Dragons on the way.
Yeah, Imagine Dragons, some more great music.
It's like, it had a spiritual tone to it.
Yeah.
And what is spiritual? I mean, it's just being alive, being connected, being honest, being authentic, Yeah. And I just came from a meeting for Universal Spirit Center. I'm the music director there, and just for those who are watching. But with the quote of the week was an Ernest Holmes quote that was something about, I wish I could remember it verbatim, or I had it on me, but I don't. But it was about how thought, which to me in this conversation is song, thought has the power to transform, just as light has the power to transform a dark room. You turn on the light, the darkness disperses. So if we turn on the song, we turn on the music, we turn on the words, we turn on the thoughts, that anger, sadness, fear, whatever, does diminish and disperse, which, again, we're not judging the anger, sadness, fear. We're just, it doesn't feel good to be in anger, sadness, or fear, you know. And sometimes it does a little indulgence.
Exactly. It's all relative.
Right? But
that's right.
Depending on muscles, feeling good.
Yeah, depending on where you are. My favorite analogy is comes from Power versus Force. I was just looking over to look at the title, have it on my little shelf there. It's a great book, and the guy it's a Dr. Hawkins, but not Stephen. I think it's David Hawkins. But he wrote this book that gives this great he's one of the pioneers of kinesiology. If you ever done muscle testing and things like that. But he writes this.
You know about this one?
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, I've actually used that one too.
It's fun. Yes.
Yeah, I love it. You're right.
Yes.
That's it. Exactly.
Maybe. Where's maybe?
Yeah, maybe he's like, oh.
Hey, what's this?
That's funny. In the book, he actually has this. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's like a chart or tiers of frequencies. Like, where does love come in? It's at, I think it's 500. Pure consciousness is at 1,000. And he's tested all these things, and it turns out like the.
How do you test it?
Through kinesiology. Through kinesiology. He's and he's a very open guy in high consciousness, and was able to come up with this scale. That's the word I'm looking for. Now, the scale actually takes things like shame, guilt, which is at the lowest frequencies, and then goes up from there. Like anger is actually a little higher than shame and guilt. So sometimes anger can be progress for people and feel better relative to where they are. Well, it's the same thing it's the same thing with really anything that you feel, any frequency relative to where you are. Go ahead, it can be a shift.
Power versus the force come in with that.
So power is the power of, well, the way I interpret it, and this may not be verbatim, but what I've been receiving is our power really comes from our awareness of our vibration and our ability to choose these different frequencies and vibrations. And as we begin to recognize and take back our power to create in this moment what we really want vibrationally, like, okay, right now I'm depressed. Man, what do I really want? I really just want to feel, I want to feel better. I want to feel good. What would that be like? I want to, it might be, God dang it, expressing the anger that's inside. And that's progress. Like, I just went from depressed and shame to anger, and it's inspiring me somehow to move. And then from there, it may be, man, I'd like to feel peace. And so, whatever it is, usually the moment creates it, but our power comes from our ability to create that vibration and that frequency versus forces when we're often trying to make something happen and manipulate something externally because we want this to change and we want them to stop and we want to fight this and attack that, and it really doesn't change.
So power is within, forces without.
Yeah. Okay. Force is kind of a misinterpretation or a misperception of what we're really after. But
what happens if you use the force? May the force be with you.
Well, so that's different.
I know, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing with you. Yeah. I'm just playing with you. Of course I understand.
And that's the beauty of words, because really it's just all about in context of how he's defining it.
He's meaning when you put your hands on the wheel and you're trying
to try to force something to happen.
Surrender. Yeah.
And then the other way to look at like the force, the way you're talking about it, I would say is the power.
Right. Right.
So, I'm
just being a devil. I'm just being a little.
I love it. So let's get back to you and your journey with the awards. I know there was also, to me, it was remarkable to learn you had created a musical. There's some beautiful things that came out of that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, and I'll work backwards on that too.
Okay.
So I I wrote a musical about teen suicide. I know it's a dark topic, but it's about the light. It's about bringing these things to the light.
Yeah.
All these things that are happening, because 50,000 teens attempt a year.
Yeah.
And 10% of them complete. So this is true, close to my heart, because I was a troubled teen, and I reached out to all kinds of externals to feel better and to get by. And there were some outside circumstances that saved my ass, or else, who knows, might have been one of those kids. Mm-hmm. So I connect with teens a lot, because I think I'm kind of like still a teenager inside. I feel like I've never really aged out of that. Maybe because I never had kids, But so anyway, we took that. I created it in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then we took it around. We did it in Orlando, we did it in Raleigh, we did it all over the East Coast, and then I got accepted into the musical theater festival in New York City, and we brought it to a little off-Broadway theater and did it 5 times there, which was really awesome and a life-changing experience for me. And then before that, I've written one-woman shows. The biggest one that I did was called Oh My God, Don't Stop. Spirituality and sexuality.
Oh, I love it. I
play 6 characters. And very inspired by, the whole genre of the Lily Tomlin, the one-woman show. And, I play a Jewish woman. It's very wonderful. I'm going to I'm taking a class called Stopping with Chutzpah. So, and I play God in the show, and it's very fun. There's some singing, and then before that
sounds
I did.
Awesome.
It's so funny. I have to bring it back. I did it many times over the years. I know, it would be a really fun thing to do, like, for the community. I haven't done it, like, really in any churches. It's pretty X. It's like X rated, but it's hilarious. The message is really current and positive and
beautiful,
and about the journey, that we're all on.
Yeah.
And then so I've done other one-woman shows where my very first one was called Me, 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 Me. Which was
me.
Or self-centeredness, right? Which was all about the parts of ourselves. Each part, I sort of separated the personality into 4 archetypes. The depressed, nothing matters. And the man, I gotta do. The out, the peace, dude, it's all good.
Yeah.
Like that. Let's just turn around and fix fun. And then diva, hello, and all those parts of us, and they all kind of wind up coming as one, and that's who we are. And I've done several different one-woman shows like that, where I get to, because I was trained in theater, and I like to put the music in the theater together, and I don't like working with people. I don't mean
That's funny.
I don't play well with others. I'm just
That's awesome. That's awesome. But you know what? Assholes are welcome here too.
Yes.
That's funny. So I got to play with you in collaborating, and we had such a good time. Yes, we had such a good time. It was fun.
I love your process. Your process is it's like the other side of the coin to my process, letting it flow, letting it come. I'm so meticulous with every word, and and I love that letting it flow, letting it, it's just a different way to approach it,
Yep. And it gets you the same, and both routes get you the same place. And what's beautiful is, I think there's value in both routes in engaging the strength of the analytical, the logical. We have a way to think, and we create meaning for a reason because we enjoy it. And so using those tools are and using the different techniques and different things, there's such value in that. And then there's also value in being able to just engage this, knowing that just brings it out in ways you're just like, you don't even have to think about it, and it flows, and you're like, oh wow, oh that's neat.
I thinking about it, I feel like my best songs have come when I'm sitting at the piano or at the guitar in a feeling, in a flow.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And I've got a progression going, and then it just sort of comes, and then I'm crafting, right?
Yeah.
But it comes out of this. I'm thinking of the song called Lift Me Up that I wrote for this new record. It's a darker song, but it's about, wanting to surrender, lift me up, take me out of this day. It's like sort of a song for the angels. And I was feeling that. I was feeling that low, like, what can I do to transmute this feeling? And I always say when I feel bad, I break out Netflix. When I feel really bad, I break out the piano.
Nice. I love it.
So I sat down at the piano and I was just like, I gotta get this out. And I was just like, when the darkness rushes in, and then it just kind of came.
Beautiful.
So it's that combo of those two, right and
left. You know what? And I couldn't agree more. The same thing. One of my songs that moves me and opens me the most that came through in a state of just sheer gratitude.
Yes. Was it Yes that you're talking about?
Yeah, I say yes, yeah.
I love that. It was one of the first songs I heard you sing, and it was just like, I was bathing in it.
But the commonality that I see is often, it goes back to what we're talking about, power versus force. Often that internal state of emotion, like when we're in tune with that and present with it, it can help us birth that inspiration and help us create from that state of being, when we're in those vibrations, and what comes out is beautiful. So that one of the other.
I'm sorry, my head just went to a really funny place. Have you watched Who Is America yet?
What's it called?
Watched Who Is America? Sacha Baron Cohen's new.
I haven't heard of that.
Do you know who he is?
I remember Ali G, Sacha Baron. Yeah.
So he's got awesome. A new series on Showtime, which is all unveiling America today. So it's really, it's so subversive and it's so wrong. But it's brilliant. You know what I mean? It's brilliant. He gets Dick Cheney. He gets Dick Cheney. He has this character that he is. And he gets Dick Cheney. He's like, will you sign my waterboard? And Dick's like, I've never signed a waterboard before.
That's hilarious.
One of his characters, he had, I'm sorry, you said birthing, and I was thinking about it. He's a man. He's like a real liberal man, who is compassionate. He's like
right.
And he faked having a baby. I'm sorry. Out of his womb, which is his man's womb.
Oh my gosh.
Womb. I'm sorry. This is not.
That's hilarious.
But it has some creativity.
It's creative, yes. And the other thing I think about is how much it weaves the things we're talking about together, from the irreverence to the humor to the message, all of that. It's another way to express
awareness, consciousness.
Yeah. Guys, I think he's genius in his expression of his creativity, because some of the stuff I've seen has had me in stitches.
I don't know how he keeps a straight face, he doesn't, the Borat, all that stuff. And
the awkwardness. There's something beautiful about awkwardness and being able to be with that awkwardness, like he can do. That to me is like a whole nother level of.
It's like that Lenny
development.
What's his name? Who did the Andy Kaufman?
Oh yeah. That's some genius stuff, man. Yeah. It's another level of our expression. So just so you know, my feet are up. The laptop is on the bed. My feet are up beside it, and I'm kind of leaning back in this chair. So that's why I'm not really close to the camera, but I get up, but this is too comfortable to move. So
you're perfect.
I'm too far away.
You really will.
Good. So for our viewers, whoa, that's not the shot I meant for. Sorry about that. So for our viewers who just finished watching my midsection, tell us also about some of the challenges that you were able to overcome on this songwriting journey. Want to hear about some of the things, and the reason I'm asking this, I'm hoping people will get some takeaways, one, to relate, but two, things that they can apply, some of the lessons, or even when it comes to songwriting, some of the techniques you found that really help you shift or make a breakthrough. What are some of those things?
Ooh.
And if you could think, go ahead.
Being involved with other artists, going to things like the Posies, going to things like the Conscious Songwriting Retreat, going to the Asilomars, being a part of a music team. I come away with hanging out with John Stringer inspired. And so the stagnancy of songwriting can be very, very, very isolating. And I've talked about this with Patricia a lot too when we hung out a little bit. It's like you're an island, and so this thing that you're doing is wonderful. And I think that's why I'm so pumped up to go to the Posies. I called Sue yesterday and I was like, I'm going to probably be taking a sabbatical here because I have an event, a family event early March, and then the Posies are late March. So I think I might just be staying down in the Florida, Atlanta area.
Oh, how cool. Oh, you coming to the A,
maybe
we got to hook
maybe
it
we'll
up.
do something together.
Yes,
Maybe we'll plan
absolutely.
a thing, like a concert or something. But I really need to feed my soul. I really, as a music director, I need to get out there, see other music, be around other musicians. I think the challenge really comes from being in the artist brain all by yourself.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And sometimes that can be as simple as turning on an Eddie Watkins CD for me and getting the flow going. And I think also the monkey mind and the fear of money and all that stuff that comes along with the soul starving artist paradigm. The way that I have found a way to quiet that is when I'm consistent with meditation, which this week I haven't been so good, but I was taking not presence process, but spiritual practices over at my center, and it forced me to meditate daily. And I'm going to be taking presence process again too, which is like 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. I know you're a big meditator, but just getting still. And, people, what is meditation? How do I meditate? Some people really, want to define it and all this stuff. And I just think it's shut up and sit down. Sit down and shut up. Whatever that means. If you need to have your coffee with you, just don't talk and be quiet and sit in the peace, because the peace, like you said, that's where the ideas flow from. That's where the I'm okay. I opened up for Kyle Cease. Do you know who Kyle Cease is yet?
I know the name, but I can't remember why.
He's a new he's kind of comedy. Have seen him all over. Yeah, it's like comedy.
Yeah, he does the theater things. Yeah, you did one of his. Oh, he's awesome. I love the guy.
Like by accident, I was opening for him at 6,000
How awesome.
And one of the things, and also Matt Kahn, the Matt Kahn.
Love Matt Kahn.
Whatever Rises Loves Up. Love that. That's the new movement, I think, of spiritual teaching is what we are already doing, which is just be here now, which is really the Ram Dass. It's old teaching coming back for a second, instead of this, I do this, instead of just, relax, open the spirit. You're on your path. You're on your journey. The next breadcrumb will arise. If I could turn back to my younger songwriter self in the 20s and 30s, I would say, relax. Your bills will get paid. Just keep doing the next thing in front of you. The next song. The CD will get complete. And it's okay if it's imperfect. It's like an artist has to walk away from the canvas at some point. And I know we've all heard those things before, those metaphors. Another recommendation I would give to any young songwriter is The War of Art. Not The Art of War, but The War of Art is a great book that talks about the discipline of being an artist. And I fall short of this most certainly. But one of the things that I've been doing is I'll show you one of my... I do visual art as well. That's another thing I would say. Do some
Which I've seen your visual art is amazing.
I'm doing these like this is a hunk of amethyst.
So freaking awesome.
And I've been doing, and they have like little stories with them and I sell these at my shows, and it gives me another outlet. Like I think to have other creative outlets is really important. Doodling, even if it's not something you sell, if it's just something that painting, I mean, so many singers, Joni Mitchell, like so many singers are painters too, because it gets us to that quiet with still being creative. So the challenges have been my own mind and this idea of what success is.
Love that.
The idea of what success is. Success means a Grammy. Success means cover of People magazine, which why would I want that? Somebody writing about my cellulite on the cover. God has me in a very safe, loving community. That is one thing I love about our community. We're not going to get that. We're not going to get torn down. We get built up by each other, Even the reviews that I've read of the positive music, I've never seen a cut down review. It's always lift you up, and that's what my spirit needed in this lifetime. but I still have the society that tells me I'm a failure because I don't have a major record label behind me, or because I don't have, even though the nightmare stories you hear, like Prince changing his name to a symbol. Did I lose you? I lost you.
There we go. We're back. There was a momentary pause. The last thing I heard you say was
talking about, like,
that's what your soul needed in this life.
Yeah, and you think, well, I'm a failure because I'm not on a major label, but then you hear the nightmare stories about, like, the Prince who changes his name to a symbol because he's so over the record label telling him what to do, or you know, all of those stories that we hear. That to be in complete and total control of your creative expression, like you and I are. Yeah, maybe there's not these points on the album that make the millions or whatnot, but there's freedom and there's peace and there's connection. And you also hear all the time when artists make it big, I miss the intimacy of the listening room. Don't you hear that all the time? I miss being able to see my fans and not bright lights in my face, you know. So I still have this, you know, I'll do a show. I did a show last Friday night in Seal Beach at a little community, and there were maybe 25 people there. And it was just me and a piano, and it was small, but, you know, I walked away with half my rent, and
Yeah, there you go.
You know, it's like you get to keep, I would say, don't be discouraged, and don't be wound up with this whole, I have to be X, Y, or Z. I have to be Jason Mraz. I have to be famous and rich, because I would love to sit down with Jason Mraz and see what it's been like, because I know that it's not easy. And my life, I don't know about my life's easy.
And I love the way Tony Robbins puts it, where success leaves clues. He's often said that many times. The way I look at it is, successful models, you can learn things and apply them your own way. Like, okay, these shoes are comfortable for me. These are awesome new Adidas brand, size 12 or whatever. But you don't wear a size 12. And in fact, your arches might be different. And in fact, you know what I'm saying? So you might want to find something that works for you, maybe similar, but you don't have to do exactly the same thing. So the past we've seen in the past, the models of success for the music industry, and even as songwriters, meant this, that, or the other. And it's always evolving, but the reality is we are here to figure it out for ourselves. Yeah, we can take clues and hints from here, but it sounds like you echo, and I think what a lot of the conscious songwriters are echoing is, as you take that time to listen, as you take that time to tap into your own connection to that knowing, that divine connection and intelligence, you can begin to actually figure out what success really is for you and what that path looks like expressing. But most importantly, going back to what we said, it's not something to come, it's something for now. It's something for in this moment. Success might just be, okay, right now I just want to relax into feeling good. And what is good? What is that expression like, and how do I do that? Oh, wow, I'm holding all this tension in my body that if I breathe and bring my awareness to just my breath and relax in this moment, I'm starting to feel much better. And in fact, it's taking my mind off of all that nonsense I was thinking about that I was reacting to, you know. I mean, finding those practices, whatever works, whatever tennis shoe size fits you, go find it, wear it, put it on. And to me, that brings the success in the moment. And then it helps you be able to go beyond the stuff that was stressing you out and actually open your awareness to the inspiration of what to do, what the breadcrumbs are to follow, what's next, what the next step is that amplifies what you're already choosing, that peace, that feeling, that relax and flow and all that good stuff. So long story short, you are doing that. Obviously, you are the expression of that. I know your albums have to be coming from that because I've listened to them. Yeah. I mean, your process. I do wonder. You mentioned how you'll write and from the moment of the feeling, like one of your favorite songs that just came on the new album. It was kind of like a therapeutic for you. What are some of the other ways you've created your music that work for you well? Yeah. And it sounded like you wanted to say something else too. So.
Well, there was something else I wanted to give for a tool for a young songwriter along the line said, which is gratitude.
Yes.
I mean, I know it's everywhere and everybody's talking about it, but I'm talking about writing a list every single day.
Love that practice.
10 things. That's what I've been doing for over 15 years.
Love that.
Almost every single day of my life, I've written or thought of 10 things that I'm grateful for. Not just like, oh, I'm grateful, but like, I'm grateful. Like, get in that feeling tone, because that, I know appreciation, what you appreciate appreciates.
Yep, that's beautiful.
So that's the one tool that has probably helped me the most through the challenge times, when I get that thought, I'm not successful. Oh yeah, well, aren't you grateful that you have your 2 chihuahuas that you are obsessed with?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Songwriting. So a lot of times there's a couple of different things. I'll hear a song and I'll say, I want to rewrite that song, that concept.
Love that.
That's how I wrote Broken Open. I was at the Posies and I heard Beautiful Brokenness, which is from the Rumi quote, the wound is where the light gets in.
Okay. Who wrote Beautiful Brokenness? Do you remember?
The duo, the amazing duo. Why am I blanking on their names? They're very, very involved in the Posse community.
Erica and Lisa.
No, not Erica and Lisa. Oh my gosh, I just had them here and I love them so much.
I can't think of who it is either.
It'll come to me.
Okay, no worries. We can look it up.
One of them has white hair, like cute. They're so cute.
I don't know why I can't think of who you're talking about either. Wait, JD and
No, but they're great too. 2 women. I'll think of it. I cannot.
Oh, wow.
They were just here in San Diego. I'm having a brain fart.
I'm totally thinking that's Lisa and Erica, because Erica has the white hair, but it's not them.
They're close friends.
Cool. But so that inspired your song.
Karen.
Good? Still good?
Yes!
Yay!
Come on, so good. Thank you. So good.
Cool.
They cracked me open with Beautiful Brokenness, and I went back to my hotel that night and wrote Broken Open, which is basically, I mean, I hate to say it, kind of a ripoff in a way, conceptually, of this idea that it is my brokenness that brings all of my blessings. And that's one of my favorite songs I've ever written. And it has nothing melodically to do with them, has nothing, it has the word broken, but they have brokenness, but it's not, so I'll get inspired, or I'll think of a set of words that I like. Flying on Faith. Let's say Flying on Faith. What does that evoke for me? Or a minister will say a thing.
Right.
I think somebody once said that the intelligence of the seed is within, the intelligence of the oak tree is within the seed.
Yes. And
I was like, okay, there's the start of my song, and that starts off my album. There's a power in the seed reminding itself how to become the tree. So I'll take a really cool concept and try to rhyme it to make it, musical.
Yeah.
I think there's things will blow me away, and I'll go, oh, I want to sing about that. Like just feeling the oneness with everything. That's how me and Gary came. We were blissed out at Circle of Love one year, and we went to this little chapel, and we're just like, oh my God, we're so one with each other, with everything, and that just like flowed from there. Feeling a concept. I love the idea of writing from concept, or writing from. I love exercises too. Like I want to write the best love song ever written, or I want to. I feel like writing a little something a little upbeat, or something that's gonna lift people up. Oh, here's one. I Get Up, which is probably my favorite track on the new record that's coming out, which I'm really hoping to get submitted and nominated this year, because I love this song. I'm going to try.
Yes.
You submit and it's fun and you see, but
yeah.
It's a great, great song. And it was inspired, believe it or not, I was teaching kids songwriting, and I was thinking to myself, what is one of the most successful songs in the past 5 years that you heard so much that every time you heard it, you wanted to turn it off? What was it? It was Let It Go, Let It Go.
Yeah.
I was like, why did that song, what was it about that song? And there's so many things. I mean, there's Indina's voice, and there's the writing, and there's crafting, and there's the melody. But I feel like it was because it was a call to action. It was something you can tell somebody to do. It was saying, hey, you could say it to your best friend. You could say it to yourself. It was a call to action. It was a call to victory. Let it go, right? It was so, it brought out this feeling. And I said, I want to write that song. What's my version of Let It Go?
Yeah.
And it was Get Up. And it came, Get Up! Like that's
nice.
It's just something you could say to somebody. Like, and it's like, get your consciousness up, get your body up, get your
I love it, yeah.
Get it up, get up.
That's so cool. You just made me think of something. You Got This is a collaboration with like 6 of us from the last songwriting retreat.
Yes.
And it's one of my favorite collaborative songs. And it freaking is exactly that. It's like a phrase you can say to somebody. You got this. You got this.
Say it to somebody.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That's what I think what connects us. And that's
why
really
cool.
That song was a hit. I really do.
Nice.
I think that song was a hit because it was like something that you can just shout at your friend or yourself to get yourself going. You got this. That's another one. Great. Yeah.
Yeah, that totally makes
sense. Motivational.
Yeah,
but subtly, not like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
not preaching.
From an internal space, from the internal space. So that's a way I like to write too, is kind of look at what makes this. And sometimes I'll write like, one more way. There's so many ways.
I love it. Love it.
I love listening to Bob Dylan, or I went for a while where I was like only listening to Bob Dylan. This is years ago. Mm-hmm. And what's so interesting about him is that he throws all the rules out. He'll do a whole song of just verses, right? It's just a verse, repeated over and over again, like almost like a rap.
Right.
And so I like to write unconventionally sometimes too.
Yep.
Like my song, it's very old of mine, but it's called If I Was, and it's just a hip hop tune, and it's a rap. I mean, it's a rap with a melody. Like it's not verse, chorus, it doesn't have to be that exact model. And sometimes I'll throw the bridge out. I don't even know I don't know if I have any bridges on this record. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not drawn to writing bridges, but I think they're important and they're wonderful. And in this, but again, it's like, who decided? It's verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, verse, outro. Like, who said that? And then one more thing I'll say, which I learned from Jana Stanfield. Are you going to interview Jana?
I don't know yet. We'll see.
Okay, she's great. So we co-wrote a couple tunes together, which I don't have any of them coming out on the CD, but one of them is called Traveling Light, and she's so brilliant. She came up with that title. Is that a great title? Traveling Light.
Traveling Light.
That's a Jana Stanfield title. So she says, so we go to write together. I'm like, all right, let's brainstorm. Let's talk about ideas. We're not on the phone. She goes, hold on. She goes, how do you write? How do you go about writing a song? And I'm like, I don't know. I just kind of slap some stuff on a page and go. And she's like, well, she writes from the Nashville way. She writes from a title.
Yeah, from a title. And does she song map and all that stuff?
And then she does a chorus, a strong chorus. And she goes like this. Now, I don't think I'm remembering it exactly, but I always tell the story like this. She goes, so think of it like this. Title of the song, 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 title of the song. That's hilarious. And it was like I was talking to Buddha. You know what I mean? Like I got my head exploded with like glitter, and I've always made songwriting very, very, very. I've always, this record is very, much more, I just sort of simplified a little bit of my writing, which makes it, I don't know, I hope people like it, who like me, because it's a little bit different. Like I have a song called So Rich, and it's just like, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. And it's just kind of, there's a lot of repetition, there's a lot of like, something just flowing out there. Because I just kind of let go a little bit of this whole, like, I need to be like Ani DeFranco and write these ridiculous lyrics that internal rhyme that say a funny metaphor that you would think twice. Like, I kind of let go a little bit.
Nice.
And sort of wrote from spirit, a little bit more.
That's beautiful, beautiful. So the funny thing, I'm thinking you said something earlier about how, I'll just say it this way. It reminds me of painting. Like, you know how you can approach a painting and you can see it and see what it could be and start going, and you have to make your adjustments. You paint, so you know that process better than I do.
I don't paint anything realistic. I paint big messes.
And here's the cool part. To me, music is just like in a sense, it's painting. You can't do it wrong unless you have like this real fixed thing that you want to create, and you can't seem to get it that way. And I've been there too.
Yeah.
But the reality is, it's really about the creator and what they're choosing. And there's really no wrong. Like, there's so much freedom of expression in creativity, whether it's painting, whether it's music. So like you said, it depends on what you're trying to target. If you're trying to open up and just allow what's seeking to come to be through and allow it to express with ease, or you're trying to craft something because you have an idea or you want to come at it this way or that way, really doesn't matter. Again, it comes back to what works for you. What worked for you back then, you've kind of released. Like you've said, okay, I tried this and I've done that. You know, this, now I'm going to try this. And I think it's an experiment. Those who are open to experimenting with songwriting that way and trying different things and expanding their awareness on how does this feel to write this one? What would it feel like to write without any freaking bridges in any of the songs? That feels good right now. Next month it might be, you know what? I want to get a song on the radio and they seem to like bridges. I'm going to craft it like this. I'm going to make it a 3.5-minute song instead of a 7-minute song. You know?
And you know what? I tend to just make songs that are exactly 3 minutes. I don't know why. I don't know what
it feels right, doesn't it?
It feels right.
Yeah. Because we've been conditioned by radio so much, you know?
Oh, this popped into my mind while you're talking. I have so many people, and I know you probably do too, that come up to me and they're like, God, you write so many songs. I just can't seem to get 2 out or 1 out. Or I have some friends that have written like 2 songs in their whole life and they want to be writing songs. And I say, just do it. Yeah. Who cares if it's terrible? Like who are you judging? Like, why are you judging whatever's flowing? Like, there's this, I mean, I guess there's a gift or a talent that I might have, but I feel like everybody has it who knows English language. I mean, and some of the biggest hits of all time have been just a thought that we had. Yeah. You know, that somebody just put onto a chord, you know? I mean, red wine. I mean, really?
Yeah.
Really? Red wine. I love my coffee. I love my coffee. I love my coffee. Coffee.
There you go.
Every morning, I love my coffee. There it is. There's a hit. It's like, you look around and sing what is.
The best part of waking up is coffee in your cup. Wait,
That's
Folger's
right.
already got that.
Oh my gosh, somebody made him.
I went to the bank on that one, didn't I?
Somebody made him.
That's it.
Best part of waking up. Folger's in your cup.
That's quite the coffee jingle. I love it.
That's
man.
fun too. I've written some jingles. That's fun.
I bet that is, man.
I would like to do more. I would like that. I think I could really have fun.
I wrote
one. Report pollution. I wrote, turn around, don't drown. Your car is not a boat.
What? That's awesome.
Swear to God. I didn't make a lot off it because it was like for the city, but like I made like $700 or something.
Hey, that's great. Yeah. That's
I
great.
wish I had more of those gigs coming in because they're fun.
I love what you said. I love what you said about just start, and it made me think of how a lot of times some people don't know where to start. Some people are, trying to figure it out, but allow themselves to be held back by the not knowing, and sometimes just going for it can actually lead you to discovering what you need to create without having to have a lot of the know-how and all that stuff that can limit you to what you can express. Now, on the other side, there are also benefits to having things that make it easy and approachable, like some knowledge too. I'm saying either path can work.
No, and
but the action is necessary in both.
And there's no way, in a way, to not have songwriting tools. You've heard so many songs.
Yeah, that's it. I mean?
You've heard so many songs, so you know what a chorus means. It means something like an earworm that gets in your ear. You know what a melody means. It just means moving, whether it's staying the same or moving. We know it. and that's I think there is definitely a fear of looking stupid or being too complicated or being too simple or being, worried about what people think. Ultimately, when people are writing, I'm worried this isn't good enough. For who?
Yeah.
For who?
And you know where that's the beauty of people like yourself, people like myself, like a lot of the people on this interview series, and many others who actually take up the mantle to share things that work, to come teach songwriting, different things, and make it accessible, because there are so many different styles of people, so many learning styles, and then even the people who are resistant to really going and figuring it out themselves. Like I heard a guy who was explaining to me, he figured out how to write songs by watching live concerts and analyzing what they were doing, had never been trained, but figured it out, and he's a great writer. I'm like, holy cow. Like I don't think I ever would have spent the time to do that. That's just amazing to me. But everybody's different. And so the people that don't want to do that, it actually creates this opportunity of exchange for us to share, hey, here's some simple things you can do. And I look at
absolutely. And again, it's about like meeting with other. I mean, like I said, the Jana conversation, which I know she teaches songwriting, and I know that I got like a free nugget right there with her.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's just a nugget, but you're going to get those nuggets if you go to that conscious songwriting retreat. If you're a young songwriter looking to write this kind of stuff, you're going to get that from John, from whoever. I don't know who other teachers.
Trisha's going to be doing the licensing. Jill Colucci. God,
Trisha, she's such a great energy.
I think you know Jill, right? You know Jill too, right?
Oh my God, I thought her song she sang one year was it blew me away.
Yeah, she's just
I would
amazing.
love to know her. I wish I could come. I've just got so many obligations here.
No, totally understood. And then of course Alan Roy Scott, amazing veteran writer who I've been just inspired by his experience. He's a great songwriter. Had all kinds of people record his stuff, from Notorious B.I.G. to Gloria Estefan to just all these folk, man. So some really, really amazing coming together of people sharing. But what I was getting with that is because of exactly how we are, like each of us, it creates the opportunity of, like, I feel like this is just a sharing of love. Like when Jana was able to share, whatever that really helped you feel this expansive, shift or whatever it was, or this idea or this inspiration. I feel like all of those opportunities that we create are created by exactly who we are as individuated expressions. Like it creates the opportunity for exchange. Nobody can do the John
Stringer like you.
What's that? Oh, nobody can do the That's right. And nobody can do the Amy Steinberg like Amy.
Yes,
right.
baby.
That's right. So
and it's important for your, voice and your message and your. I think both of us are teachers. Yeah. I did have a cool conversation one time with Ani DeFranco, who's also one of my songwriting heroes, because she's just
very cool,
brilliant. But I got the opportunity to meet her and converse with her, and I told her I was a teacher, and she said, "Well, I went to Japan once," and she had her guitar in the car, and the cabbie said, "Well, how long have you been playing guitar?" And she said, "I don't know, like, 35 years or something." And he said, "Oh, so now you teach." And she expressed that in most other countries that she's been to, when you become a master, I hate to use that word because it sounds like, but in a way, we are masters of what we're doing. The ability to sit down. See, for us, it's not a struggle to sit down and write. So that means we've mastered it. And so for us as master teachers, to be able to give that to the younger or newer songwriters that is our blessing.
Exactly. And
that's our natural progression.
The awesome masters are also like yourself and myself and others are the ones who are continue to expand to learn from other masters.
That's right.
And continue to share with other masters. You know what I'm saying? Because all of us are masters.
I'm starving for the posies this year. Yeah. I didn't get to go last year because I moved to San Diego and, whatever else. Cheap, and then I didn't get nominated.
You weren't there last year. I remember that.
But I'm like, it's just a travel and all that trip. But I decided this year.
It's a long journey for you.
I'm going and I'm going to lead a workshop, and I'm going to be involved and be with my people, because
I
it's like
love it.
to be around each other. I mean, wow, right? Like,
Such a beautiful
it's
thing.
freaking cool.
It really is. We
So,
just talked with the last interview was Richard McDeesey, getting him sharing the journey behind that whole thing. It's such a beautiful story. That's where I met you. That's where I met
oh my
so
God, that's
many
where
of
we
the
met.
artists. That's where
That's
we met.
crazy. I
Yep.
forgot.
Isn't that cool?
I
Yeah.
forgot we were in the same room doing the
That's
pajama
right.
jam.
Yep.
Oh,
We're
I
the
fell in love with
same.
your wife and
That's
you.
right. Yep. It's
I
so
love
awesome.
you, my friend. We're like cuddling on the bed.
That's yeah, man.
Oh,
Kathy is
that
such
was your
a
first year, and now you're like
amazing.
superstar.
Yeah.
Kazi, man.
It's been such a blessing, man. I tell people that going there was such a beautiful way for us to meet so many new other communities and to branch out and other artists that were amazing like yourself and just so many folk, and it was eye opening, and it's just continued.
Wonderful.
It's continued to
Yes.
continue from there.
Yes.
So so
All right,
shout
we
out
have to wrap
again
up.
to the
It's like we're already
posies.
over.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up now. But last, I'd like you to leave one last piece of uh, advice as far as what you feel for you personally has been, and even if it's something you've said, has been right now a sincere key for you to really expressing yourself with the songwriting with this new album. What's one big thing you feel like sticks out for you that someone could probably benefit from hearing? Whether something you said already or something new.
I love the word authentic.
Mm.
And I know that for me, I've got all kinds of masks and faces and ways I want to look and ways I want to sound. And even
Mm-hmm.
on this record, I listen and I go, that sounds like a little bit of a, you know, stilted, or, I could have done that a little more authentic. But I think that the journey to authenticity is really the journey for me. And
Yeah.
I'm there with my body, with my shape, with my looks, with my inside, with my outside, with my communications, with my friendships. Is this real? Is this a real connection? Is this a real authentic? Who am I lying? Like, I want to tell the truth
Yes.
about
Yes.
what I believe and what I know. And my truth is always changing and always growing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also say to anybody in the New Thought movement who's watching this, get in class. And that's where I thrive the most.
Nice.
When I'm taking class, whether it's going to these retreats, taking a songwriting class, or taking a consciousness class. There are centers and churches all over that do them online. So you don't even have to have the excuse of like, I don't want to go out or I can't do this. Like, there's so many. And reading spiritual books and opening my mind to what is the truth. And I definitely go through spiritual deserts where I don't feel a connection.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to be authentic about that too.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the dark, the shadow. I want to talk about the light. That's what I want to hear in music.
Love
I
it.
just discovered Lizzo. Do you know Lizzo?
I never heard of Lizzo.
Okay. My friend just turned me on to her. And she's a pop. You got to look her up.
Okay, I
L-I-Z.
will do that.
She's a big girl, and she lets it flaunt. Like, she just like the rolls are out, the cellulite's out. She is out.
Nice.
I think that is the next generation of artists.
Nice.
Is I'm not hiding anymore. I've got nothing to hide. I've got nothing to fear. To be authentically myself, I don't need to fit into this box of whatever. Like we've talked about, this mode of songwriting or this thing or this, authentic. Be authentic. Be yourself. That's what we want. I want John Stringer to be John Stringer.
Yes, Lord. Me too. And you know what? We love when people are authentic because they're shining their light. I mean, truly shining their light. Whether it's a light that doesn't look like they think it should look, but when they're themselves real and being that, to me, there's so much power in that. Like, I can embrace Amy Steinberg because I've seen you've been vulnerable and I've seen this, and I love you so much because you have shown me who you are. And it's those nuances and all the different intricacies of who you are that I love, you know.
Well,
so you don't show that, people can't see it, you know.
I think it's interesting too, this idea that I am not necessarily here only for me, right? So, and I think that it's really important for us to be like tuned into ourselves, like we've been talking about, you know, getting an internal focus and learning to, and recognizing that, guess what? You, John Stringer, are a star in my sky, and if you're not shining your light, it's affecting me. So if I'm up there shaking my stuff and doing my crazy, it's not all. It's about who that person in the audience is getting inspired. You know, it's like how we're dinging off each other, how we're pinging and dinging off each other, and what we're giving to each other. And my sister actually said that to me once, and I stole it, which is, you are a star in the sky, and if you are not shining, I take it personally.
That's beautiful.
And
I love that.
It's true, you know. It's like you gotta, you know, you're affecting. Listen, it's like that wonderful Martha Graham quote about there is only one you, and if you are not expressing, you are robbing the universe of that particular flavor. It's like, what if we just didn't have chocolate and we just had every other flavor? We had we had vanilla, we had key lime, we had caramel, but we didn't have any chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
That whole flavor, like, and how many other flavors are there? Like, it's endless. But
love it.
You are a flavor, and I need to eat your ice cream.
That's right. Share your flavor, baby.
Share your flavor. Ooh, is that our next song?
There it is. Share your flavor. Let's get it.
Share your flavor. What's your flavor?
Oh, what's your?
Oh, you know what? It's funny because Ani DeFranco has 32 flavors and then some. She has a song called Flavors, which is like one of the only songs she ever sold. I am 32 flavors.
Oh, to someone else?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
32 flavors. Look it up.
No, when you say sold, you mean actually people bought it, or you mean she sold the rights?
Covered it. Somebody covered it.
Got it.
Only song she ever got covered, and then she never did
I see. That makes sense. I think I've heard that one too, yes.
Yeah, you've heard it.
Yes,
you've heard it.
Definitely. Well, Amy, you are awesome. I expected to have a good time. I didn't know I was going to have this much of a good time talking to you. Always a pleasure. Love you so much. I love you. Look forward to the next time we get together. We're going to have a great time.
Please don't mess around. Come back to California.
Yes, I know, right? We're coming, man. We're coming.
Do you want to plan? If you want to plan before the Pozzies, I need you on my books.
Perfect. Let's do it. Okay. I'll chat with Kathy, in fact. And for everybody who has no idea who Kathy is, very few of you, Kathy is my wonderful partner.
Well, I like
we love Amy Steinberg incredibly. We will see you all soon. Peace out. This has been another edition of Conscious Songwriting. No, actually, Conscious Songwriters Interview Series. And we will see you all soon. Peace and blessings.
And a blessing.